Let's Get Down to Business is presented by Bravo, the marketing arm of Ash Brokerage Corporation, the practice enhancement company. All this week, it's long-term care linked benefits, and on today's show, the value of annuities under the Pension Protection Act. And with me today is nationally recognized LTC linked product expert, Bradley Gayhart. Hi everyone, I'm Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and contributing author to Backroom Technician. Let's get down to business. Well, welcome to day 4. Bradley, how are you doing?
I'm good, Steve.
4 straight days. Are you breathing still?
Yeah, I'm still here.
You're still here. Well, I hope you're appreciating Bradley's insight. I mean, he really understands what he's talking about. Today, I want to talk about the value of annuities. We're just going to talk about annuities now, no more life for a moment. I know that pains me as a mortality merchant, but let's just go down that road. We're talking about the Pension Protection Act, and that changed the map, didn't it? I mean, that just changed the map.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, that was a huge bonus to our industry. I can't believe they're allowing us to take money out, a gain, by the way, gain out of a contract to pay my reimbursement for any extended care expenses I'm going to have.
Well, that just shows you what a serious issue planning for long-term care actually is, and the overall expenses that are coming down the pipeline with the baby boomers that we have turning 65 on a daily basis.
Now think about that. I think the number that I heard from Maria last week was $10,000 a day. A day, I think she said. Yeah. I don't know if that's the right number, but $10,000 a day
for the next 18 or 19 years.
I know. I mean, think about that. The whole hippie generation is becoming. We're all gray hairs now. You know, I'm looking at how this has changed the face of how, and you're exactly right. How serious is this? The government wants to offload this so bad that they're willing to let you take gain out of an annuity to pay for your long-term care reimbursement bills for extended care. That, to me, you're exactly right. I never thought of it that way. That is a huge issue. That's exactly what they're doing because they do not want to fit the bill for this. They can't afford it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're looking at, I think, we're right up against a $17 trillion debt, and that does not include all the obligations of all our social programs, which is now at the tune of, I thought I was on, it's on it's accountingandtruth.com or .net or something like that, at 76 trillion.
Yeah, well, more importantly, Steve, just a couple of weeks ago, the long-term care panel actually broke. And when they broke, part of their analysis was they understand that this is a very real cost. However, they didn't see how they could fund it. Mm-hmm. So an organization or a panel that was put together by the government as part of the Affordable Care Act basically has come together and said, we know what type of issue this is going to be, but we just have no idea how to fund it.
Well, I guess it's up to us, and there we are being back independent. We have to take control of our own life, our own retirement, and our own extended care needs. I like this idea, though. Now, I'm thinking every annuity that we're talking about, I'm going to take off the table for a second, SPIA, no single premium annuity for just a moment. So it doesn't matter if I'm using an interest-bearing annuity. Does it matter if I'm using an indexed? Does it matter if I'm using separate sub-accounts in another form of annuity? Does it matter what type of annuity? And I'm talking non-qualified when I bring this question.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. As long as it has a long-term care rider that will pay out, it doesn't matter. And as long as it conforms to that Pension Protection Act, we're totally fine.
Okay, so it doesn't matter how the crediting method of the individual annuity is.
No.
Okay, so we have people out there that might be underwater on some of their stuff or whatever. I mean, they could use this.
Absolutely.
Talk about not qualified, though. I'm kind of curious about that. Are there products, linked products on annuities, inside qualified plans or no?
Not that I've seen so far for qualified money. I have seen the availability to use qualified money for some of the linked benefit products that are out there.
There's no tax issue there, right? I mean, you saw the money's coming out of my retirement plan, qualified. I have to pay. I still have to pay ordinary income tax, right?
Yeah, you would. You'd still have the 1099-R that was developed off of that transfer.
I'm trying to think if I'm coming into retirement, this could bring a whole new wave of Roth conversions if I'm trying to position myself for tax-free money coming out of my annuities so I can use it for LTC. It may, and I'm not saying this is the way to go, every client's different, but this could be a new wave of Roth conversions to set ourselves up for our retirement and bite the bullet now so that we get our Social Security. You know, that'll come out a lot freer. Maybe our long-term care, we're getting annuities transferring from qualified positions to non-qualified positions.
Absolutely.
I mean, this could be a whole new wave of Roth conversions. I'll have to think about how to do a show on that. That, to me, I just had that revelation right now. It's a revelation of premium proportions, I have to say. Well, we've talked about the leverage. We've talked about how annuities. I'm thinking so it doesn't matter if what kind of annuity we use. If I have an annuity and I have a long-term care, can I go ahead and annuitize that annuity with my LTC benefits online?
Well, depending on the type of annuity that we're using, some of them have built-in riders that kick in if you already have annuitized that annuity and are receiving income. If you would qualify for a long-term care event, they would actually leverage that income and multiply it times 2, times 3.
Whoa. So you're saying, I want to make sure because I got too excited there for a second. Are you saying I got my annuity, I've annuitized it, but I have an LTC rider on it or an LTC embedded benefit. Now, Now explain it one more time. Let me make sure I'm hearing.
So you're getting your $10,000 a year
Right.
from your annuity, or let's say $12,000, $1,000 a month. Have a long-term care event. You can qualify through the benefit triggers, the same as any tax-qualified long-term care plan. 2 of 6 ADLs, so you can't bathe, you can't transfer yourself. Benefits trigger, now instead of $12,000 a year, you receive $24,000 or $36,000, depending on the annuity and the contract, because of that long-term care rider kicks in.
How many advisors know about this?
I would say more and more daily. We try to talk about it as much as often as possible, I should say. So I can tell you from my standpoint, about 20 new advisors in Florida learn about it on a day-to-day basis.
I can't believe they didn't jump all over it.
It just depends on the advisor, but a lot more. I would say a lot more advisors out there are opening up their landscape.
And you got information on this, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, to me, I think we need to explore this. That is, now we're talking about serious leverage with annuity contracts that a lot of advisors already have on the books anyways. Some of these have these LTC embedded areas, or you could transfer it over and then be able to trigger it. To me, that's huge. When we come back from the break, we're going to unpack the tax advantages of the Protection Act and for extended care and reimbursement, especially for retirement. And don't forget, you can request your long-term care manual from Backup Technician right on our website, downtobusiness.ashbrokerage.com, or just sign up for your own 30-day free trial right at Backup Technician at brtnow.com/trialsignup.aspx. We'll be right back with more from Bradley right after the break. Back in the day, life insurance professionals were called field underwriters. Then, carriers trained their field force in the basics of life insurance underwriting. Today, the insurance industry doesn't educate the agent population as they once did. But now you can have the Informed Risk Guide at your fingertips so you can illustrate a reasonable rate class for your life insurance prospects. Just request your copy of the Informed Risk Guide at downtobusiness.ashbrokerage.com. It's free from Ash Brokerage, the practice enhancement company. Well, welcome back. I'm Steve Savant with Bradley Gayhart. And remember, you can watch all our episodes of Let's Get Down to Business and my weekly consumer show, Steve Savant's Money, the name of the game, at ashbrokerage.com. Just go out to our homepage and click. As soon as you click on the logo, it'll take you right out to all our shows. And just remember, before moving forward with any of the ideas on our show, always consult your tax advisor, legal counsel, as well as your broker-dealer compliance officer. Well, let's get down to business. We're unpacking the tax advantages of the Pension Protection Act. I'm still on stun from the first segment because, Bradley, you're telling me I have my income generation coming from my annuity, I have my embedded LTC, and now that's going to jump my numbers up higher.
Absolutely.
I think I want to see the math on that, and if you're like me and you're inquisitive, say you want to send me a little note saying, Steve, I need to see that too. That sounds too good to be true. Steve.savant@ashbrokers.com, and I'll kick at you with Bradley. And Bradley, you'll have to show us the math because, man, to me, that's interesting. Well, I want to talk a little bit about when we're talking about the PPA and we're talking about the function of it. When I get does the carrier send me a 1099 when I generate this reimbursement? Because I want to get paid back now, right? Yeah. So they send me the payback. They've reimbursed me for my LTC event. Is there any 1099 transferring from the carrier to me? And is it say zero? And what does it do?
Well, you're going to get that zero so that you can take that to your accountant, and the accountant will then.
Okay, but let me make sure I understand. So I am getting a 1099 issued to me, or I'm not.
I don't believe you're getting that 1099 issued to you.
But if I did.
If you did, you just take it to the CPA.
And it better be zero.
Yeah,
right?
It should be zero.
Okay, all right, it should be zero. Because there's some mechanics here that I want to make sure that we're all straight on. And I noticed I think it's Genworth. They actually give you a 1099 with a zero. So
Yeah.
so they can say, hey, we saw this, we acknowledge that there was a transaction, but it's not a taxable transaction.
More than likely, that's what you'll see from most carriers.
And that's why I always say, always talk to your tax advisor.
Yeah,
Don't
no,
listen
definitely.
to Steve Savant. Okay, I'm just bringing it up as I hear it. I'm just an observer of our business. Well, let's talk about this. I'm looking at a lot of contracts that I've seen now, annuity contracts especially. The last 5 years have been good for those in equity accounts. It's been good for those in index accounts. I mean, it's been pretty nice. I'm looking at all that gain, and everybody's kind of saying, well, that's my weeping problem because I have to pay ordinary income tax on that. And on top of that, that income actually causes my Social Security to be taxed because there's an increase. It's part of the provisional income test for my benefits. But if I'm taking this out for reimbursement and paying my extended care, and again, I just want to underscore for not only my own personal underwriting for how I'm thinking about fixing mine and preparing my retirement, but I'm looking at this as across the board. How do I make this work? How do I make this work for my retirement? I'm trying to take this money out free. I can't take it out free, and now I could use it for assisted living. See, I keep thinking I want to do this assisted living because I think everybody wants to go that route, and this is going to come out free.
Yeah, it's going to come out tax-free.
When I'm looking at the leverage of long-term care, what's the number one reason? Because everything you're talking about sounds reasonable, sounds logical, sounds math. Why is the consumer going to say, I'm not doing this?
It just boils down to that consumer, making them understand the need for planning, understand where all their eggs are buried, I guess, and what their risk really is. Advisors, some that work in this field do an excellent job at uncovering all of the hidden exposures to a client, whether it be portfolio risk, whether it be longevity risk, and kind of put it in play. Others don't do so well in that area. So if you're doing a great job at uncovering where those risks lie, usually clients look at you and say, where do I write the check? If you don't do a great job on that planning aspect, that's where you're going to run into confrontation. Clients are going to say, well, it's better off if I hold it on this side of the
And we can
balance sheet.
generate our software. We have planning software that will generate the mechanics of this.
Absolutely.
And again, I just want to say in a couple of weeks we're going to have Bob Ritter on, and he does a unbelievable job with Insmark, with Wealthy and Wise, and he will prove beyond a shadow of a doubt good logic versus bad logic, just strictly on the basis of math, why we should all be playing in this space, not only as a hedge for our portfolio like you've been talking about, but the economic leverage is just too great, and the tax advantages because of the Protection Act. I mean, the Pension Protection Act has a lot of good features for annuities, and that's why I'm kind of musing over my first statement in the first segment, Bradley, about, man, this could trigger a massive Roth conversion kind of wave again.
Yeah. Well, not only the Roth, obviously that's more of an individual situation and a CPA conversation, but where I see a lot of movement now is over the past 5 to 7 years, we've seen a lot of money gravitate into annuities, specifically fixed annuities, that might otherwise have stayed in CDs. And the reason being is the leverage the interest rates on those CDs have gotten so low. And due to the deferred growth in the annuities, that makes available to an individual a significant return over top of what a CD can do for them. So they're having these gains in these fixed annuities, and in Florida I run across all the time where people just roll from fixed annuity to find the higher interest rate, and it's almost a dead asset to them. So you might have a gain of $30,000 or $40,000 in an annuity, and they don't want to touch the money, and they just plan on wealth transfer for it. So in this capacity, we can take that $30,000 gain along with the basis of the annuity, roll it over, and down the road, take out all the benefits to fund a long-term care event on a tax-free basis. That's really the beauty of this Pension Protection Act and how it can work for us.
I love it. If you want more information, we have a ton on it. Just go ahead and write me on the Pension Protection Act itself. I'm happy to send it to you. Well, that's our show for today. Remember, you can read all my online insurance news commentary, advisor blogs, and articles on Producer's Web, as well as my answers to consumer questions on the Insurance Library. And don't forget, you can view our past episodes right on our on-demand section, downtobusiness.ashbrokerage.com. And don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, or just email me, steve.savant@ashbrokerage.com. And remember, you could be wiser as an Ash Brokerage advisor. I'm Steve Savant. See you.